Going on saying stuff, but none of them helped me, like. Bit strange, isn't it? Right, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Meeting today. Figurine Finders Committee. Computer. Right, so
when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes. Yes, I want to stop by the employee lounge first.
Wow. Yes. This room.
I want to see if I can get to
what
that
a beautiful room.
Little bit.
What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he didn't. Stanley continued forward.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
If you're lying right now, stop. Yeah. But I got a job, so obviously I know what I'm doing. Oh, I can get down here. Okay. What's in here? Oh, okay. Oh.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed.
Oh, that's better.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you.
Nothing else here.
Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Oh, well, that was quick. Well, I've got to go the other way now, haven't I?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Computer.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Because they're all gone. Like there's no one here. You're just repeating the obvious at this point. We're gonna go right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nah. Went through the one.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art.
No, quick run through
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Quick time.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, it's a Stanley thing. parkour here.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figure
More
and
to go.
Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will
Figure
equal the
and
second
Marines.
number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figure and Marines. None of us can.
So what do I do now? I don't want to go back to that room. It's the fall damage. Where's the best spot? Land on the
But
floor.
in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to
that's
tell
not
him
my
what to
legs.
do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his
And
death.
snapped his leg.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Very, very powerful.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the
if you take the
chaos
bucket and
all
jump
seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Yes, I'm embracing the bucket this time. But we're gonna go right.
Stanley
again.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh, but I'm curious about whatever the bucket's got to say if we go left. Yeah, I'm gonna go left. Does the bucket want me to do anything? We need more planks. Okay. Alright. Warehouse access plan. One plank to allow ease of access past fence. Okay. Oh, I should have just read this apparently. Retrieve remains from warehouse floor. Right. Somewhere both red and blue. Red and blue, red and blue. Where's both red and blue? I don't know. But we got the broom closet again.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
What's he going about stickers for? Why does he need stickers? Back in? Anything? No, we'll do it next round then. Close the door.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yes, we walked upstairs this time. Keeps mentioning the bucket. Right, this is red. Somewhere both red and blue. Red and blue. Oh. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. Oh, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. Okay. Someone needs to have a word with the cleaner because he seems to be leaving that.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even
Yeah,
now,
the bucket
in his
does help.
darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
What's
At
the
this point,
coding?
Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Where we gotta go, bucket? We gotta go right or left? Go left. So I don't think there's anything right. See, I liked the lift before. It gave us some nice music.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yes, the bucket is here for me.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Control Facility. Okay, got that. I still got the bucket though. Oh, it's a button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Okay.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea
What
pigs.
number am I?
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Are we over here like 427 or something? I think that was 42. Maybe. Could be 423 though. Or 424. 424 seems a bit. I don't know. No, it's not 424. 423. I think that's us. 423. But is it? There's no one else here. Oh, fired. Oh, that screen. I want to see what that is. Okay, never mind. No, I don't.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
System power. On. Off. Well, we've got to turn it off, haven't we? Oh. Okay.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Where'd you go down?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Oh, okay. The end is never the end, is never the end, is loading never. Meeting today. Alright, so I need to find...
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
I'm not picking the bucket this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Door on the left. Here we go. Meeting room, here we come. Yeah, so somewhere red and blue. I'm so bad. Lies. Is the one left? Somewhere red and blue. Red and blue, red and blue. Clues. Michael. JK. Do not leave the office before reporting back. Any new findings. Teamwork and communication are of great importance during... Okay. Is there a hidden one? Oh no, because he glowed, aren't they? Red and blue. Well, that's just mean, that. Like, I was enjoying going in the broom closet over here.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, I don't know where that could be. Is it somewhere red and blue on the other side? Is it going to take me anywhere this time? Probably not. Red and blue.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Is there anything else? No. Nothing. Guess we're going back down to the mind control facility then. Red and blue.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Red and blue. Oh, that's certainly off that way.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Well, if
did
it's
he
not
have
this
the
way, it's
strength
gotta be the
to
other way,
find
then.
out?
I've got to go right rather than going left.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Most likely.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yeah, we're gonna turn it off. We'll open up again.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
Nope.
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where
Suppose
had
they're gonna
his
open now, I'm not gonna
co-workers
book it.
gone? How
I
had
hope
he
it
been
does.
freed from the machine's
What's on the other
grasp?
side of this?
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as
on the other
sunlight
side
streamed
of the
into the
door?
chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge
Oh,
or even
we've
power
got more
that he
trees,
had
we've
been
got
seeking,
mountains,
but happiness.
telephone
Perhaps
pole.
his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where
Brick
to go,
house.
what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Oh, is that wood?
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yes. He's going to go to the car park.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin,
Oh,
the feeling
no,
of
he's not going to
liberation,
go to the car park.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is loading never. Right, so I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and comment and follow me, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.